What's up guys, Josh here, and today is our first Rage Against the Machine lesson on this channel. There's a lot of great drop D riffs from this band, and today we're going to dig in. So, Take the Power Back is a rare slap bass tune from Rage Against the Machine. It's mostly fingerstyle stuff, but this is one of the slap tunes they did, apparently before the bass player decided never to slap again because they didn't want to sound like a Chili Peppers ripoff band. According to an interview with him I read. Anyway, so we're just going to dig right in here. To follow along, you will want to download the PDF as this text here suggests, and you can get sheet music and tablature and slap fingerings all included in that document absolutely for free. And we'll get started. So basically what we're going to do today, this song is relatively simple. There's a number of parts, but it all builds around that central riff. So we're going to focus on that. We're going to do a few slowed down play-alongs for that riff. I'm going to take you through it step by step. Then we're going to cover the different cool little slap fills and talk quickly through the fingerstyle riffs. That stuff's not real hard, so getting the slap is our main focus today. We're going to try to keep it as brief as possible. I tend to not be as brief as possible, but I'm getting better, and I hope you appreciate that. So, slapping is something I've talked about in the past, and some of you might like to do this downward pointy thumb thing. We're not going to have any of that business here on this channel. I'm going to have you slapping with what I like to call proper technique, which you can see most bass players outside of the rock arena using this thumb pointing up technique. So check out my previous videos I've done on basic slap technique. Just for very brief review, thumb pointing at 11 o'clock just above parallel on the string, and the power is coming from twisting at the elbow, not from thumb wiggling. So everything is very relaxed. You're getting lots of power from the forearm twist. Thumb is not tight, thumb is nice and loose. You're just twisting down for the slap, and then twisting up for the pop. Twist down for the thumb, twist up for the pop. First things first, tune your E string down to a D. Or, if you're cool like me, you can use your hip shot extender to just drop it down to a D with a flick of a switch. I really like that little hip shot thing. I've had that on there for a while. Anyway, so you're tuned D, A, D, G. So standard tuning, except your E string is dropped a whole step down to a D, which is classic Rage Against the Machine. Almost all of their big hits. And a couple other ones. Most Rage Against the Machine riffs are drop D, which is part of the sound. It's really cool. So, opening, just some of those. Then we get into a modified version of the riff where we still have a bar of rest in there. We're just going to jump right into where the riff gets into full gear. Here's the main riff totally broken down and demystified. 2 thumps, 8th notes, then pop. This is something people have gotten wrong on YouTube, I've noticed. Pop here, not a thumb. Thumb, thumb, pop, hammer, thump, pop. Pop, hammer, thumb, pop. Pop, hammer, thumb, hammer. Thumb, pop, and that finishes it. And some of those thumps can be a little muted. You know, this kind of riff, not every note matters. It's just the accident note. So some of those thumbs come out a little bit muted. Don't worry about it too much. Once you get comfortable with it, start bringing it up to song speed. I think you'll naturally bring out the notes that are supposed to be accented just because you know what this tune sounds like. Let's try playing along together real slow on the main riff with a facsimile of the corrected drum beat. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and a 4. gonna try a medium speed play along here in a second. I just want you to make sure with your right arm that you're staying relaxed. That is the secret to slapping quickly is don't try to speed up too fast and stay relaxed. Just real, as floppy as you can get without, you know, not hitting the notes. You should feel a lot of momentum as your thumb bounces off the string, and just keep it relaxed. Don't get all clenchy, oh, I gotta play it fast, because that keeps you from playing quickly and accurately. It just totally ruins your flow and your coordination. So stay relaxed. Let's try a medium tempo play along. Same riff. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. All right, and let's try that full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the full speed of the main riff. If you're at the slow one today, or if you're not even up to the slow play along yet, you still need to work the coordination. Just be patient, you know, depending on your level. It's gonna take maybe weeks, maybe a little longer to get this tune up to speed if it's one of your first slap tunes. It's not a bad beginner intermediate slap tune. Just don't be in a rush to get it up to speed. I know a lot of you young guns out there want to play as fast as you can right out of the gate, but it takes time. At least it did for me. Maybe you can magically play fast and accurately without practicing, but for me it takes time. So that's the main riff. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through the various fills that are placed at the ends of 4-bar slap phrases. This is a classic way to put bass fills into a tune. Is you got a 4-bar phrase, 2, 3, 4th bar, do a fill, then rinse and repeat. So that's what's happening in this tune. Like for example, in the first system there, where the guitar comes in and we're playing the full version of the main riff. 2, 3, then 4th one, we do a fill. Classic. If you're ever gonna add fills to a tune, do it at the ends of 4-bar phrases. That's how we roll in music land. There are exceptions, of course, but that's like the classic thing. Ends of 4-bar phrases. Or small fill at the end of the 2nd bar, bigger fill at the end of the 4th bar. It's another good formula there for you. So let's just go through these fills one by one. The first one we're gonna go through is in bar 15. It's at the end of that first 4-bar phrase there where we're playing consistently with no rests. And this one's real easy. There's nothing really challenging about it. So we're just playing the riff as we normally do. And then once we get there, we're just playing a couple 8th notes, a little chromatic walk up back up to the D. So the only trick with those is to put a little lift in between them to get it to sound the way he plays it on the track, rather than having those notes all flow legato into each other. Put a little gap in there. Here, I'm putting a little space in those notes just by doing a little lift with my left hand fingers before I get to the next note. So listening for little note length things like that is a great way to emulate the bass lines you're learning more authentically. Once you get the notes and the rhythms, you focus on note length, articulation, tone, and stuff like that. So that's a little thing you can do right there. It's just keep those notes short so it sounds the way it does on the track. All right, signature fill. I don't know if it's a signature fill, but it's one of the ones that stands out to me. I think the guitar might double it one or two times in the track. Just some solid as heck D minor pentatonic. So that's exactly the same as the normal riff we've been playing. A lot of these fills are just on beats 3 and 4. So what we play on beats 1 and 2 is the same as normal. So first 2 beats here, bar 18, are the same as the main riff. Then on beat 3, we've got a 16th rest, a thump, a pop, a hammer, another ghost thump, pop, thump, the G string, then hammer on the D. So we've got a thump on the G string, which a lot of beginning slappers are not comfortable with. So if you want to get a good note out of a slap on the G string, you gotta hit it pretty hard. And again, it behooves you to stay relaxed with your thumb, because if you have a nice strong twist in your forearm and then your thumb's relaxed, it can deliver all that force. If it's all locked up, then you lose a lot of the power. So nice relaxed arm. So again, rest, ghost thump, which just means slapping a muted string, thump slash slap, same thing, I use both words. Anyway, rest, thump, pop, hammer, ghost thump, pop, thump, hammer. That pretty much takes care of the whole first page. The last bar there, we get to play "Take the Power Back," that little break there. So that's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, "Take the power back." So it's just thump, thump, pop, hammer, thump, thump. So you have to do a couple quick thumbs in there. And there's not a lot of places in this line where you have to double up on 16th notes with your thumb. There are places, but there's not a ton of it, which makes it not a bad kind of beginner intermediate slap tune, because you're not having to do the fast thumb thing so much. You kind of bounce between the thumbs and the pops and the hammer-ons so that you're not having to overwork any particular part of your technique. So top of page 2 is the first chorus. We got to take the power back. I'll just leave you to it with the tab and sheet music for that. There's nothing really challenging about it, just some syncopated eighth notes and some fingerstyle plucking. Nothing too tricky. Let's go to the slap fill in bar 46. This is a pretty interesting. Pretty interesting little fill. So again, this is at the end of a 4-bar slap phrase. So you get 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, then 4th bar is the fill. That's just, anyway, I've said enough. You get it. 4th bar of a 4-bar phrase. Fill that sucker. Or don't if it's too much. Anyway, this fill. Again, we're starting the bar the way we start the normal parts of the main riff. So we're going thump, thump, pop, hammer. Then we're going thump. Then we're doing a double pop on a power chord, which is something we haven't talked about in this video yet. So popping the D string with my index finger and at the same time popping the G string with my middle finger. So I'm popping that power chord, an E and a B natural, and then sliding it. So there's nothing super mysterious about the double pluck there. It's just like, which actually we're going to get to this at the end of the tune, plucking 2 strings at once fingerstyle. You just use 2 fingers and pluck them at the same time. It's nothing super crazy. So same here with the double pluck. We're plucking them at the same time and then sliding it. So thump, thump, pop, hammer, ghost thump, double pop, slide. Then a cool little kind of Victor Wooten-y little trick here. Thumb and open string, hammer on the note, and then finish it off the way we finish that other fill. They both finish with the same 3 notes at the end. So. So my goal going through all these fills is just so you can hear them isolated and slowed down, and then, practicing fills like this and working them into your vocabulary takes time. It's not something we can just do a 10-second play along and you'll get it. So once you get the main riff, you can start playing with these fills one by one, work them into your vocabulary. Try changing a note or two and try making up your own fill based on what was on the track. And that way you can get a lot more juice out of this one tune. Okay, moving right along here. We'll be done with the fills soon. I think we've just got a couple more. Bar 51. Yeah, we play the riff fingerstyle. Nothing really tricky here. Just make sure you catch it because there's a lot of switches from slap to fingerstyle in this tune. And if you want to play it the way it is on the record, you want to make sure you catch those and don't just slap your way all the way through. Because you can hear there's a very distinct difference between the attack on a slapped note versus a plucked note. If you listen closely and maybe EQ the bass up so you can hear that extra. Okay, so moving on to our next slap fill. This one's cool. We get some slidey octaves, which are a really cool effect. Marcus Miller does some great slidey octaves too. So, here's what we're doing. Thump, thump, pop, slide, thumb, thumb. So thump, thump, pop, slide, thumb, thumb, pop. Make sure both notes of the octave are fretted when you go for the slide. So, because that's part of the effect we're going for. So thump, thump, pop, slide, thump, thump, pop, slide, thump, pop, slide, thump, pop, and that's it. It's all written. All the things I'm spurting out at you are written down. I'm trying to take it nice and slow so you can hear how it sounds. Here we go, slow again. And you notice that my middle finger tends to shoot out when I'm doing octaves with my first and fourth finger, and I'm not trying to flip you off. It's a strategy that I tend to do reflexively because it's a great way to mute your low string when you're trying to just play octaves on the A and D strings and you don't want a ringing E, or in this case, low D string. So that's why my finger's doing that, if you're wondering. Okay, 2 more slap fills. There's a lot of them, but I wanted to get through all of them with you. Next one's kind of a weird one. Here it is again. So there's a couple fingerstyle notes in there. I feel like maybe he didn't quite get where he was aiming for in time or something on the recording session. It's just a guess, but these things do happen in the crazy world of recording sessions. So fingerstyle, slide, pop, thump, pop, thump, pop, thump, thump, hammer, pop. Nothing too crazy. It's all written out there for you. Let me play it slow for you a couple more times so you can hear the rhythm. I'll play 1 bar of groove, 1 bar of the fill. That fill was at bar 66, by the way. Sorry if I forgot to say that. Last fill is bar 70 at the end of the first line on the last page. Something seemed familiar about the right hand pattern that's written out there. That's because it's just like the main riff, except instead of playing notes, you're just muting with your left hand. So instead of hammer-ons, what you're doing is kind of like just a left-hand slap. And then we're grabbing another double pop on a power chord down there. Pretty sure that's what I heard on the record. There's some fun little power chords in here. So sort of throwaway notes, but I think they sound kind of cool. You don't really even have to nail them, but I just write down what I hear on the record because I like it. So really just play the main riff and don't put the notes on it and you'll have this fill. And now we're out of slap territory, finally. So the rest of the tune, the fingerstyle riffs, I don't think are super challenging, but there are a couple cool things I want to point out. The first one is right here at rehearsal letter C. This rhythm is the exact rhythm that we talked about in the first polyrhythm grooves for bass, the 4/3 polyrhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and bum. Bum, 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 4 and bum. Ba, 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 ba. Exact same rhythm we did, and then just by chance I decided to do this Take the Power Back cover and lesson, and voila, there's that rhythm. So those first 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect 4/3 polyrhythm. So what you're seeing there is what a 4/3 polyrhythm looks like written out in 16th notes rather than written as like 4 notes with the 4/3 designation in the notation. So that's what we're looking at there. Pretty cool. Polyrhythms in action, baby. And it's really neat that you can hear it with a couple different drum grooves in the track, accompanied by some shouting. So you can see the different contexts in which this pattern can arrive. The drums can be playing it, or they can just be going boom, crack, and you can hear how it feels different depending on how the drums are interacting with your little polyrhythmic efforts. Okay, lots more repeated material until we get to bar 98, where you're just playing root 5th octave on a C for 16 bars. Nothing challenging there. One thing I want to point out is listen to this section of the song that starts at bar 98, and then listen to, oh shoot, what's the name of that tune? Pretty Little Ditty, Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's basically the same bass line, just a little weirder and different guitar part. But I think these two song sections sound really similar, so you can check that out if you want. I find it amusing. So nothing challenging there. And then the last riff, finally, we've come to it. You can't not headbang on this. So plucking power chords, I'm just going first finger, second finger, plucking each note. Then normal alternating plucking on those single notes. That's it, we finished the tune. I know it's a lot of slap fills, but just start with the main riff and then work on the fills one at a time. You know, you can always come back to these videos. You don't have to digest it all at once. Just put it on your watch later or however you like to do that. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I like sharing free bass lessons with the world. I appreciate you being here with me. If you'd like to support me in continuing to put out these free videos, please check out my Patreon page where you can actually be rewarded for supporting me with a small amount per video. You can get early access to lesson PDFs like today's lesson. My patrons got to see the PDF last week. And you can do hangouts, you can get me to transcribe songs for you. I've got some cool rewards on there, so you can check that out. You can also buy Beastly Scales and Arpeggios, or my new beginner to intermediate scale book, which is not out yet, but it will be soon, and you can find that at joshfossgreen.com/books. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.